I'm a little frustrated today, William. I'm a little frustrated.
Talk to me. What's going
Well,
down?
I'm in one of my favorite places, getting ready to talk some Detroit Lions football, and just have this beautiful, beautiful Aiden Hutchinson helmet sitting right here, William. And I know we got a jersey and maybe some surprises, some extra stuff that we're not even going to mention. But the deal was we had to get to 100 members to start doing this giveaway. We're going to do a members only giveaway. Well, William, I just checked prior to coming on, and unfortunately, we're sitting at 99. We're
Ooh,
one. Yeah, we are one member away. I don't know. Maybe we do a live stream tomorrow. I wouldn't want to miss out on it. If you're sitting there and you're on the fence or you don't know how to do it, I would be pulling some strings to figure out how to become a member and start getting in some of these giveaways because I'm free tomorrow, Will. I mean, I don't know. We'll have to see how things pan out, but we're at 99, guys. All right. I'm not even asking you to subscribe. Become a member. You got a chance to win some pretty cool stuff. It's sitting at 99. Can't say it enough times. 99. Let's
right
get
on.
to 100. Let's give this stuff away. But Will, what are we talking today?
Uh, Apparently, we're talking about sitting at Zadarius Smith. Is that a sign that Zadarius is coming to the Detroit Lions? 99 members. Maybe he needed to hear this. Maybe Zadarius Smith is our 100th member. Maybe he puts us over the hump. Who knows?
Maybe
But
he's the 53rd man.
hey,
Mm,
I like
mm,
what
mm.
you're doing here. I like what you're doing. But today we're talking about a little bit something different. We're not talking about Zadarius, even though Zadarius, you're my number one. We're going to talk about somebody else today. We're going to talk about, there was some news that happened. A lot of people have been talking about it. There was a releasing today of a past number one pick overall in Jadeveon Clowney. And a lot of people say that the Detroit Lions need an edge rusher still. A lot of people were pissed about the draft and said, hey, we did not address that edge position. So there's a guy right around 6'5", right around 270 pounds, got that 34 and a half inch arms. All of the things that you need to be a good edge rusher, great edge rusher. Steve, are you interested? Well, how are you feeling about it?
Well, the great thing about this Detroit Lions channel that we have here is we don't talk every single little thing that happens around the NFL. We don't get on here and pound the table for players getting released and we got to have them in Detroit. We don't do that. All right. The other day, Justin Tucker of the Baltimore Ravens got released. Did we come on here and do a show about how the Lions need to sign him? No, doesn't
Did
fit.
not.
Doesn't make sense. Not sexy. Jake Bates, better kicker. No allegations. No need to talk about that. It's not relevant to the Detroit Lions. We're talking about
Facts.
Jadeveon Clowney because there's a little bit of relevance, a little bit of a need. It's a little bit of a fit. It's not the move that I think I want. I know I want Zadarius Smith. I know I'm pretty sure you want Zadarius Smith too. But
Mhm.
if that price tag's too high, is Jadeveon Clowney a solid contributor that I think could do that same exact role? Yeah, probably not as good, but this dude's a freak athlete, man. I remember when he was coming out of college. Oh, sorry. I thought Vincent Smith's helmet was still rolling past me from the University of Michigan, if I'm being honest. I thought I heard something tumbling around behind me while we're talking about helmets. I guess we got to mention Vincent Smith back in the day, getting his just clean taken off, the cleanest hit. I don't know about that, but a very notable hit in college football.
Yeah.
If you guys don't know what we're talking about, I'm sorry that you've been living under a rock for the past 11 years. But am I interested? Yes. My interest level is minimal, but there is a little bit of interest here. Will, how are you feeling?
I will say this has been a bit of an emotional roller coaster. I say that because when I first saw it, I was like, let me go see how much he costs. That's the first thing that I want to know. So I looked. His last deal was 2 years, 10 mil a year. Okay. Not crazy. But I don't know. Let me look at some film. So I started digging into some film. Last year he played 600 plus snaps, so he played a good amount of snaps last year. I know he's getting older, 32 years old. Played in 14 games, played for just a dying franchise out there. So the fact that he was out there as an older player, even though they were nowhere near sniffing a playoff run or anything like that. Okay, I see it. So then I started watching all of his pass rushes. I started there, and You know who he reminds me of, Steve?
I don't even want to try to fathom a guess on this one, Will.
He reminds me of the NFL version of Shamar Stewart. And here's why. Because I looked at the stats and just pulling up the stats. Let me see if technology is my thing. I tried to.
It's usually not.
Yeah.
This episode could go 5 hours if we're waiting on Will to do something with technology.
I've been trying to get a little better at this whole technology thing, but if we get in here and we start looking at these sacks, so we go down to the most recent season, 2024, he had 5.5 sacks, right? Season before that, he had 9.5. 2, 9, 0, 3. This is a dude who was the number 1 pick overall in the 2014 draft. And as I look through this, he's never had double-digit sacks, right? And he's been kind of hit and miss throughout. He's been playing in games. If you look over here, he's been active in a lot of football games. Hasn't had that crazy number of sacks that you expect from a guy of this caliber that's drafted number 1 overall. So, Steve, when I started watching his pass rushes, what I noticed is he's got an explosive first step. I think he ran like a 4.5 or something crazy, and he's a freak athlete when it comes to running in a straight line. When he changes direction, he looks like a lineman trying to change direction. It looks bad. When he gets caught out on little bubble screen plays or misdirection plays, he has a hard time handling those type of plays. I think those are the reasons why he struggles to keep those sack numbers up, get him to the double digits, or just consistently get on a tear of just getting sacks. He needs to get in a straight line, beat you with his first step, get by you, get a straight line to the quarterback, have him boxed in and bring him down. So I don't know, man. He's just not as good as I thought that he was when I watched him on film. It's just, I would much rather have Zadarius Smith. Now, that said, am I interested? Very similar to you, Steve. I'm mildly interested just because if you're asking me if I would rather, and this is no offense to our guy, because I like Pascal playing down in the inside, right? I think Pascal is an athletic defensive tackle, and if we're in a pass rush situation to where we got maybe Marcus Davenport out there, but then we want to jump in, drop Pascal into a defensive tackle spot, I think we got an athletic guy who we play in all types of stunt games. But when he's on the edge, if you're asking me if I'd rather have Pascal rushing from the edge or Jadeveon Clowney, I'd go with Clowney, right? But if you're asking me if I would rather have Zadarius Smith or Jadeveon Clowney rushing on that edge, I'd rather have Zadarius Smith. So that's where it sits for me. I don't know, man. There's just some other directions that I would probably go with it. But if he came to Detroit, I'd be cool with it.
I think what it boils down to for me is I know that he's not going to be Batman. All right. And we keep using that phrase. He's not going to be the number 1 guy. It's going to be Aiden Hutchinson. Jadeveon Clowney, when he was drafted in 2014 to the Houston Texans, I don't know what their mindset was. Listen, I can't even remember what I had for dinner 2 nights ago. I damn sure I'm going to try to think of what the Houston Texans were thinking 2 or 10 years ago. But they had already had a guy in Houston, William, by the name of J.J. Watt. Now, they were really hoping that these 2 dudes were going to wreck the league. And that didn't quite happen. But that's not to say that Jadeveon Clowney wasn't a solid number 2 option. So if he comes to Detroit, and I know we're not getting 2014 Jadeveon Clowney. I'm not trying to say that at all, but I'm just trying to say that sometimes you draft a guy, especially one in one, round 1, pick 1, you have some high expectations. It just doesn't always work out. But I think he has found a niche in his career being a really, really solid alternate option. All right. Carolina, not much defense going on there. But if you like looking at some of the other teams he's played on where he did do good, Baltimore, they've always been known to have a good defense. His first year in Cleveland, Myles Garrett, he had 9 sacks as well. Tennessee, stinker year, doesn't really, we'll just throw that one out the window. Seattle, they didn't really have a dominant guy in 2019. And then he had some consistent years with Houston when he was playing with J.J. Watt. So I'm thinking pairing him with Aiden Hutchinson, like I think that he'd just play that similar role. Just if you put him on the team last year, he'd be second in the team in sacks, right behind Hutchinson, who didn't play after week 6. You get Aleem McNeil back, you get Tyleek Williams. If you're looking at a Jadeveon Clowney being your 4th option on that defensive line, your 4th best pass rusher, maybe 3rd if you want to put him ahead of a rookie, that's perfectly fine too. I understand it. Or a banged up Aleem McNeil, I don't know. But what I'm saying is, if he's your third or fourth option, and yeah, he's a little old. He's not the same old guy he was 10 years ago, but who is? But I think he's just kind of found that role in his career of, hey, I'm not the top dog. All right. Everywhere I go, I know the Ravens had, I can't say his last name, Metabuke, something like that, where he was just dominant. I think that's where, was that it? I mean, I was just kind of on a fly, but I think he's just a solid backup option as a pass rusher. That's not what he was drafted to be, but that's kind of just what he's, unfortunately for him, is just kind of turned into. So, hey man, if you got a little bit of gas left in the tank, come to Detroit. Let's try to win you a championship. Let's try to get you a Super Bowl before we go out. And I think he could be. He's not a massive mover of the needle for me. Like, he's not really saying, "Oh, we get Jadeveon Clowney, like, book your tickets to the Super Bowl." I'm not saying any of that, but I think he could be, like I've been saying all offseason, one of those guys that could be a wave of a pass rusher, whether that's second, third string, a pass rush specialist, whatever you want to call him. I think he could be a factor, and he doesn't have to be the main guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're dead on. That's exactly kind of where I was going next, Steve. And you kind of answered a question that I was going to toss at you, but he's on the second line for me. He's on that second line coming in off of the bench rotationally. He'd be the guy coming in after Marcus Davenport. He'd be the guy, coming in with that group of Al-Quinn Muhammad. So when I look at the depth chart, Steve, and I think about potentially adding him to the depth chart and what he would be doing, what it would look like, I think that he's in this group right here. I don't even think Pascal's here. This is Marcus Davenport, but that Al-Quinn Muhammad, that Pascal group, I think he's going to beat out a guy like that. That I'm expecting to do some things this year if he makes the team, and Isaac Uku. But he would be in that group. But Steve, when I look at this thing, and I watched a ton of him today on film, I watched QBs getting away from him when he was beating guys on the edge by just stepping up in the pocket. You kind of alluded to it, and I'm just going to expound upon it more because I've really been feeling this. If he steps up in that pocket and he steps into Talik Williams, if he steps into DJ Reader, them crushing that pocket, I think it could be a better situation for him. I think that with our defensive line and the skill set that we have in our group, right? Because those interior guys, even before we get a Lee McNeil back, I don't think you're just going to be able to step up in the pocket and make your throws in Detroit. I think that those interior guys are either going to be stalemating those guys or crushing that interior offensive line. So when you step up in that pocket, you're probably going to have somebody in your face. If he can cut off the corners with Aiden Hutchinson cutting off that other corner, I think that it could be something that's a perfect situation for him, because when I look at these guys, right, if you're asking me if it's Jadeveon Clowney or Al-Quinn Muhammad, it's Jadeveon Clowney. I already said how I feel about Pascal. We know how it is with all of these guys besides Hassanin. Hey, he's a curveball right now. Like, again, I've been trying not to talk crazy. I've been trying to keep it minimal, but hey, everybody else in this group, I don't see an upside where I could potentially be saying, hey, I would rather have that guy rushing instead of Jadeveon Clowney. So for those reasons, Steve, I think that this could seriously be a perfect situation for Jadeveon Clowney to just be able to rush the edge, box him in. You don't got to worry about guys juking you out of your shoes or just stepping straight up into the pocket and getting away from you and letting you run by. I think it could work out. I don't think he's the most athletic guy, even though he's faster in a straight line than guys like Zadarius Smith. And I don't think Zadarius Smith is a crazy change of direction guy. But when I watch Jadeveon Clowney change direction, man, it's really bad. It's really bad. He's like that guy that's like you watch yeah, man, it just looks gumpy, and like when he's running out on screen, it looks bad, man. And I shame on me. I mean, he's never been a Detroit Lion, and we weren't podcasting when he came out in the draft, but I didn't know how bad he moved as far as changing direction. So I was actually a little bit more excited about him before I really dug into the film today. So for those reasons, man, there's some dudes that I would really like more. There's one more guy that we may get into moving forward, man, that I could have some interest in as well ahead of Jadeveon Clowney. But I'm with you. Don't get it twisted. If we got him into Detroit for the right price, I'd be excited about it. Like I said, he could be a fit as a guy. Just rush the edge, man. Like Hutch is going to send those guys your way. DJ Reader and Talik Williams are going to be crushing that pocket. And I'm gonna give a shout out to Roy Lopez too. He's a guy that'll still make some guys and take some double teams. It can make a fit in Detroit for him, man. I wouldn't be tripping if we draft him. I wouldn't be like, oh man, why did we get him? He's terrible, he's trash, or anything like that.
Well, I'm absolutely amazed at one thing and one thing only. And it's not anything you said, it's something you didn't say. I cannot believe for the life of me that you put up that graphic and didn't mention Levi Onwuzurike. Don't you have Levi Onwuzurike pajamas tucked away underneath your clothes right now, Will? Like you just sleep in them all day? Like I'm pretty sure you have like
that too.
Yeah. So I know you got that Levi Onwuzurike thong. I know you bricked up down there. I know what's going on. I'm just amazed you didn't mention it. I'm shocked. I was sitting there waiting, like, oh, here we go. Will's daily mention of Levi Onwuzurike. But my interest level, I'll answer this, and then I'll let you answer too. But my interest level on a scale of 1 to 10 for Jadeveon, I'm probably at like a 3, possibly a 4. I just don't. No, I think he's a fit. I just don't know that he's going to come here. I just don't think. I don't know what his interest is. I don't know what Brad's interest is. I don't know if Brad's looking to make another move. I think that's probably the biggest variable for me is Brad Holmes. Is he looking to make another move, or are we pretty much set? I think at this point, going into some rookie camps and OTAs and training camp coming up, I just get the gut feeling that we're mostly set. Now, if this does happen, I wouldn't be completely shocked to like an extent that most people probably would. I know everyone's on Twitter right now like, oh man, Jadeveon Clowney, got to bring him into the Detroit Lions. Like, I'm with you guys, but we got to make it make sense. So the contract has to make sense. He has to be productive. I think he still is, and he has to be available. I think he's still healthy. So he checks those 3 boxes for me. If the price is right, I'm good with it. I just, I don't know. Brad just doesn't make crazy. I don't even know if I want to call this a crazy move, but just a move that everyone wants. Brad doesn't just go out there and say, what does the fan base want? Let me go out and react. So I don't know if that would even be what his mindset would be, that he's just, I don't think he would do it just to make the fans happy. But I just, when players become available, it's literally like a 1 in 30 chance or something like that he's going to be a Detroit Lion. So slim chances, I don't know, but I think he's a fit for Detroit. I think he wants to win that Super Bowl. I think it'd be a nice little pairing, but I'm not pounding the table for this one. But it does make sense that, hey, bolster up that defensive end position, because we don't know what's going to happen with Marcus Davenport throughout the season. We saw the attrition last year and all the injuries. If this is another guy we can throw in that's a name that we all know and someone who can produce, I think that would make me feel a little bit more comfortable. So how do you think, Will? What do you think 1 to 10? What's your interest level?
Steve, I think this is going to be one of those few episodes where I don't get the opportunity to ask you if you're nuts, because I think 3 is a very good number. And the last thing that I'll say is this on it that really hammered it in for me. To me, he's like that relationship that's perfect on paper. It's like you look and it's like just compatibility after compatibility. He's 6'5", he's 270. That's the frame of a guy that Brad likes. He's a big, long-armed guy. He can set an edge super strong. But when I looked at his film today, first things first, he just didn't look like a Detroit Lion. And by that, I mean, he didn't look like a guy who's trying to get physical. He doesn't look like he's attacking the line of scrimmage to get his. Now, he'll set the edge with his arms, but it almost looks more finesse. He's not trying to get after it. He don't look tough and gritty. And a lot of times when he's making tackles, he's wrapping his arms around a guy's hips and like kind of swinging the guy down. He's not just charging and hitting a guy right in the mouth, man. You don't see that violent action of the offensive lineman's head and neck just jarring back when he's striking him with his hands. It just doesn't look crazy and violent. Oftentimes, he's using his jab steps to elude blockers and try to swim them and finesse them, not just get physical, tough, gritty, nasty North football. It just doesn't look like that when I'm watching him play. So for those reasons, I think a 3 is pretty good. Now, could he come in as a depth piece and a guy who we're just going to try to utilize for a pass rush here and there, and maybe as a guy who we want to have in our back pocket for the back half of the season if we have some attrition like we did last year? Maybe I could see Brad doing that if the price was right. But there's a couple other guys that I think that would be ahead of him, starting with Zadarius. Another one that we may do a show on, so I'm gonna keep it in my pocket. But I'm sure you guys are more than welcome to guess in the comments, and if you get it right, I'll go ahead and hit that heart button on it so you know you were right. But
it's Matthew Judon.
Unbelievable.
And I didn't talk to you. I didn't talk to you.
You're just gonna put it out there for the world. That's what we're doing here. Unbelievable. Okay, guys. On that note, I will say this: Matthew Judon is from Michigan, and it's not because of that. I could care less about that Pontiac guy, but he looks the part. Dude wants to get physical, and I kind of got that underlying feeling, Steve, about Jadeveon Clowney when I was watching him, and I said, let me go watch Zadarius and let me go watch Judon. And the very first play, I kid you not, the very first play that I watched of Judon's today, he took his hands and he put it on the tackle, and it was violent. The next play, he took his hand and he put it on the tackle, and then he snapped him down, and it was just violent. It was just, and then I was like, yep, that's the difference. That's the difference. Jadeveon Clowney doesn't look violent play to play. He doesn't look like he wants to play a rough game of football. He looks like he's more of a finesse, more of a, I'm going to beat you with length. I'm going to beat you with angles. I'm going to beat you with speed. And for those reasons, I don't think that he would be the best guy to have opposite of Aiden Hutchinson, the best guy to be a fit for the Detroit Lions. So that's where I'm at. Well, while we're here, how do you feel about Judon?
I'm not doing a full dive. I was just trying to spoil it for you. Like, that time I made a bet with you that I think I bet you $50 one time you couldn't guess something and you nailed it right off the head on live. So I had to go out there and just go ahead and ruin something for you, just ruin your day a little bit. But yeah, we'll do a show on Matthew Judon probably coming up. We got a little, dead space coming up with some Detroit Lions. Not a whole lot going on, so he's someone we could definitely put on the radar to talk about. You got anything else for tonight?
Yeah, bottom line is this, guys. Let us know how you're feeling in the comments. And to my son, little William, if Uncle Steve calls you, don't answer the phone because he's going to tell you some more spoiler alerts. Be careful, buddy. That's all I got.
If you prank text me, there's going to be some consequences and repercussions. Prank or not, when you say you spark a conversation and then ghost me, there's going to be some conversations that need to happen. So yeah, if you see that phone ringing, you better answer it because there might be worse consequences if you don't. Stick around, hit that like button. We'll be back later with another show.
Peace.